The Extension System and Experiment Station of the University of Vermont present your daily Farm and Home program, Across the Fence.
Hello, I'm Lyn Jarvis and welcome to Across the Fence. On this special edition, we're coming to you from Cancun on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. We're going to be introducing you to some of the people who live here. We're going to visit some of the Mayan ruins. But before we do that, here are some sights and sounds from Cancun, one of the most popular tourist areas in Mexico.
Hello amigos, how you doing? This is Cancun and this is the Market Key Week. This is my shop here. I want to show you some things we sell right here. For example, this is the head to the mariachi singers use. This is a nice one, handmade from Mexico City. I want to show you something else. These are the blankets from Mexico City also. All kind is handmade. All this stuff is real stuff from Mexico City also. We have some jewelry also. Come inside here. All this stuff is from Tasco. It's sterling silver with the real stone. Everything is handmade, come from people to work in Tasco. We have something else inside here. This is all silver, sterling silver, like this stuff here. We can get it from Tasco also. This is sterling silver, nice, everything is handmade also. So these are some of the little things that we have here to sell to the people. So what can we say? We hope so you come here to Cancun and enjoy the places and the stuff, the handcrafts we sell to all the people. So amigos, goodbye.
A visit to Cancun isn't complete without a visit to the most famous Mayan ruin in the Yucatan, Chichen Itza. It lies 125 miles west of Cancun, and you can get here by organized tour or you can rent a car. I prefer to rent a car because you can explore at your own pace. Chichen Itza is a massive site covering 6 square miles with about 100 buildings to explore. It was founded in 1445 AD, and for 900 years, a community flourished here. Then suddenly, the people disappeared. I'm standing in front of the most impressive structure here at Chichen Itza, the Temple of Kukulkan. It was named after an important Mayan deity, Kukulkan, also known as the plumed serpent. Interestingly enough, the castle is built in 3 layers, one atop the other. About 30 years ago, restoration was being done and workers discovered a hidden chamber, and what they found was a major archaeological treasure. To see this, we must climb 63 steep and narrow steps that take us deep inside the castle. The hot, humid climb leads us to a carving of a jaguar, painted red, set with pieces of precious jade. The Mayans had great respect for the beauty and speed of the jaguar and made it an important part of their religion. Well, we've come outside the Kukulkan castle now. We're going to climb to the top. It's easier climbing out here because you're in the fresh air and you're not in that hot, humid inner chamber that you just saw. They even have a chain here, as you can see, to help keep your balance as you're climbing up and down this pyramid. And a large pyramid it is. It's over 70 feet tall, and there's 91 of these stone steps to get up to the top. When I first came to Chichen Itza, I would rush up these steps so I could see that beautiful view from the top, but the next morning my legs were really sore and I paid the price. So now I take my time, look at the view as I go up, and enjoy this climb. So we'll see you up at the top in just a few minutes. Okay, here we are just about at the top. That climb wasn't so bad. It was really worth it because the view from up here is really spectacular. Over there is the ball court. It's 272 feet long and the largest of its kind ever discovered. To give you an idea of its size, 2 football fields could fit into the ball court. The object of the game was to get a ball through a stone hoop located 20 feet above the ground. The opening in the hoop is small in diameter, so to score a point was not easy. Well-preserved carvings along the base of the ball court show how the players dressed and the stick used to move the ball around. From the top of Kukulkan Castle, we can also get a good look at the Temple of the Warriors, a structure made up of terraces, columns, and carved pillars. These carved pillars show excellent detail and give us a good idea of the life and culture of the ancient Mayans. Of particular interest to me is this carving of Chacmol that sits atop the Temple of the Warriors. Chacmol was the intermediary between the Mayans and their gods. Sacrifices were an important part of Mayan culture, and offerings would be placed on Chacmol's stomach. Human sacrifice was also practiced here at Chichen Itza, and to find out more about that, we're going down that path to the sacred cenote.
In the Yucatan Peninsula, there are no rivers or lakes. All the water is on the ground, so we must get our water from the cenotes or wells. This cenote of Chichen Itza is not for drinking. It was a sacred place for the Mayan people. This was a place for sacrifice. When there was no rain or the crops were poor, a young woman would be sacrificed. She would be dressed in gold and fine clothes for a sacred ceremony and would be pushed into the cenote. The young woman was not afraid. They were happy to give their life to their God. Archaeologists have taken many artifacts from this cenote, and they are at the Archaeological Museum in Mexico City and the Smithsonian Institute in the United States.
We've come to another part of Chichen Itza now and got caught in a little rainstorm, but before we leave, I want to show you a couple of more interesting structures. The Mayans are very interested in astronomy. They studied the movement of the sun, moon, and planets, and they devised a calendar that's accurate to this day. They did their studying in the observatory right behind me. A circular staircase inside the dome leads to a chamber near the top where the Mayan astronomers did their calculations. Slits and openings in the dome gave fixes on celestial bodies that helped them discover new and fascinating revelations. The Mayans felt a strong connection with animals and nature and incorporated that link into the very soul of their existence. Nearby is another complex, a massive structure 300 feet long and 55 feet high. It's full of connecting rooms, and when the Spaniards explored Chichen Itza in the 1800s, they named it the Nunnery. No one really knows what the rooms were used for, but perhaps they were used by students who came to Chichen Itza to learn from the elders. Next to the nunnery are some well-preserved carvings of Chac, the hook-nosed rain god. Chac was particularly significant in this lakeless, riverless region where rain was more precious than gold.
When tourists visit Cancun, many of them come to see the National Folkloric Ballet of Mexico. Before we see some of the dancing, I'm going to tell you a little about it. This ballet performs every night in Cancun and presents the most popular dances of every state of Mexico. Each dance features the music and costumes of the area. 16 dancers are in this ballet, and most of them have been dancing in the company since they were very young. Every year, the best dancers are selected in order to have a tour around the world. I've been on tour 5 times in the United States, and that's really exciting. Well, now, proudly, I'm going to present to you the National Folkloric Ballet of Mexico.
We've traveled 78 miles to the south of Cancun to the walled city of Tulum. Although not as impressive or as large as Chichen Itza, it's still my very favorite Mayan ruin, and I'm going to show you why today. Archaeologists say that Tulum was built about 1,000 years ago, and during that time, the Mayan civilization was in decline, and the tribes in this area, the ancient tribes, were involved in many wars. So a walled city was built here, Tulum, for protection. To get into Tulum, you have to go through this entrance right here. As we enter the passageway, you can see how narrow it is. This was a protective feature to keep any enemies out of Tulum. The wall itself is 10 to 12 feet thick, an excellent protection for the people that lived here in Tulum. As you come through the entrance, you get your first glimpse of the 60-some structures that have been restored here at Tulum. Of particular interest is the Temple of the Frescoes, and if you look closely, you can see some of the original pigment used by these ancient artists to paint the carved figures. One can only imagine the beauty that time and elements have taken away. Another interesting structure is the Temple of the Descending God. It is named for the carvings found that depict a Mayan deity descending headfirst to earth. Behind me is the largest structure here at Tulum. It's called the Castle, or El Castillo. It's a large pyramid, and on the top there's a two-room temple. Until last year, you could climb to the top of the pyramid and get a look around the area, but because of the thousands of tourists that come here every year, all climbing these steps, it was just too much wear and tear on this ancient structure, so we can no longer climb to the top of the temple. In past years, I was able to go up there and do that. I'm sorry we can't do it today, but I'm going to show you just what makes Tulum such a special place. I'm crossing in back of El Castillo now. Tulum is built on a 40-foot cliff that overlooks the Caribbean Sea. And from here, you get one of the most spectacular views of the Caribbean Sea that I've ever seen. And here you're beginning to get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. It's this view right here that makes Tulum my very favorite Mayan ruin. Just look at that view. There in the distance, you can see a small watchtower where the ancient Mayans could sit and watch for enemies that might approach by sea. Because of its location, archaeologists believe that Tulum was a very important trading post and functioned as a port along the coast of the Yucatan. Down below, the surf meets a coastline broken by crescent-shaped coves and beautiful beaches. Tulum is one of the few places in the world where history buffs can rub elbows with sun worshippers. But you don't have to be a sun worshipper to enjoy these peaceful beaches. After exploring the ruins here at Tulum under this hot sun, a dip in the Caribbean is a perfect way to end our visit here to Tulum.
Besides the sunshine, the beaches, and the ruins here in Cancun, water sports play an important part of anybody's vacation. And on my vacation, I've decided to get my certification as a diver. Now, I started this back in Vermont in the middle of winter, and it's still the middle of winter in Vermont, but here it's beautiful, warm sunshine. In a few minutes, I'm going out on the boat behind me, and I'm going to complete my diving certification.
Well, that's it from Cancun on the Yucatan Peninsula here in Mexico. We hope you've enjoyed coming along with us. I'm Lyn Jarvis. Adios, amigos. Muchas gracias por verlos. 3, 2, 1.
Well, that'll be our outtake.
Yeah.